Hey, friends, welcome back to yet another exciting episode of Friends of the Squared Circle. I'm your host, Cranderq, a.k.a. my real name, the number one beard in pro wrestling podcasting, Rich, and no one can take that away from me because it's a self-proclaimed title.
To this beautiful bride. Are you ready, Jay Rich?
Am I getting this prize?
No, because it's for me.
Oh,
Read it out loud.
the number one beard in pro wrestling podcaster, self-proclaimed. Yeah, it is
Look at that. I got an award for the best beard in wrestling podcast. Leroy ain't got no award.
Yeah, because he did it to himself.
Doesn't matter how you get the award, right? Am I right? Am I right? That's right.
Wow.
It's your boy, Cranderq out.
Now, would you believe that video is almost at 10,000 views, Rich? Because everyone was tuning in to see me get an award for the number one beard in pro wrestling podcasting, self-proclaimed. No one can take it away from me. Unless they have clippers. But you know what? No one does. Rich, how are you doing? And welcome back.
I'm doing great, man. Thank you for having me back. It's glad to be back. Always great to stop into Friends of the Squared Circle and have a one-on-one chat with not only the man, but the beard. I mean,
that's right. That's right. There is no food in it. I did comb it out before the episode, folks. Yeah. So hopefully we do not see crumbs. Now, you have been on before. Let's give people a brief reminder of, your wrestling history, what you do in wrestling, and all the fun things you do. And then we'll jump into our topic today of our top 3 managers. Now, folks, before we dive into this, we have a disclaimer. We're not going to mention Bobby the Brain Heenan, Paul Heyman, or Jimmy Hart, because those guys are iconic and everybody picks those. So we're going to try to find 3 others that we love. So, again, no Bobby the Brain, no Paul Heyman, or Jimmy Hart. So if you're going to turn off this episode, don't do it yet, because we are going to name some different names today. But go ahead, Rich, take it away and give us a brief, description of you here. Sorry.
Well, yeah, sure. So mainly my involvement in wrestling is I am a ring announcer, also commentator, but mainly ring announcing is where my passion is. Currently on the independent circuit scenes. Have worked for multiple awesome promotions around Arkansas. Have grown quite a bit, obviously, since the last time that we talked. I think last time I was just doing a few promotions here and there. Now I'm pretty solid as somewhere just about every weekend. But Gladiator Championship Wrestling, I was just with TNR Championship Wrestling with Pride. I pretty much, if it's an independent promotion in Arkansas, chances are I either know about it or I've been there. I'm also now a touring announcer with the Midget Wrestling Warriors.
I am so jealous of that, by the way. Sorry.
Man, it is definitely one of my favorite gigs. We actually just came back from our last show of the year with them down in Dallas, Texas.
Oh, nice.
Ice House, man. It was a great time, great crowd, and a great time to wrap up the year for them. So I'm certainly looking forward to continuing with them for next year. And if you're still there, then the resume isn't quite long enough for you. We'll also throw out that I am the arena announcer for what was their former Hot Springs Wise guys that are now the Hot Springs Diamonds. But they are part of the Arena Football League in Hot Springs, Arkansas. And again, I am the in-arena announcer for them. And yeah, man, looking forward to starting that up again here next year. So they actually, their debut year was last year. They made it all the way to the championship game. So I'm really excited to see what we do this year.
Who'd they play by chance? Who'd they play?
I believe it was some team from Duluth. They were,
I mean, my favorite arena football team, the Harbor Monsters. They took home the chip two-time champs. That doesn't happen a lot in Minnesota that we win back-to-back championships.
Well, there's always this next year. We had our guys. I feel for them, but we had some travel issues, and man, it really. It worked out in your favor, that's for sure. No, congratulations.
Yeah, and plus we had home field advantage, so right. But I'm not like the hugest fan of that, but I do love watching it. We have had Coach Renfro on with his son Noah, who is an amateur wrestling, trying to make it in the world of that sport. So kind of a fun little thing that you are also connected to that too. So, but
yes, sir.
Yeah. So a lot of things going on in your life, Rich. We definitely got to get some of those roster members from the Midget Federation there. That'd be kind of fun to have them on. hear their inside scoops of the wrestling world from their perspective. And that's not a short joke, folks. That's more of what they go through on the independent circuit for them. So that was not a slight at them at all. But yeah, we're here to talk about your top 3 favorite managers. So I'm going to let you go first, then I'll go. We'll bounce back and forth. But who is your pick for one of your top 3?
Well, yeah, you kind of threw me because, of course, I did want to come out of the gate with Paul Heyman. I mean, he's definitely stepped up, and of course, everybody knows it. But since we crossed him off the list of the not being able to be used. One name that I don't know if I hear very often, and I really don't know why. I think it should be more common, but Percy Pringle, Paul Bearer.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
To me, he's definitely one of the top 3. Nobody ever lived the gimmick like Paul Bearer did.
Right.
Everywhere, man. The voice, the facial expressions, the earn, he had that to a T, man.
Yep. Yeah, definitely with Undertaker, Kane. He did a little with Mankind there, I believe, as well. Yeah. Great character work. Whereas the other 3, that we said we're not really going to, put in our top 3s just because everybody else would. He did a lot. He was iconic with the Undertaker. Like you said, the earn, the character,
That's exactly why I have him up there at my number 1. He wasn't just a mouthpiece. He wasn't just the guy that could cut the promo because, somebody couldn't. He became the story of The Undertaker. Mm-hmm. Yep. His dynamic with The Undertaker and Kane just took that whole concept of, this outworldly, tapped into the evil or whatever you want to call it, The Undertaker, anyways, but into, emotionally grounded drama. The whole, 2 brothers and, it was, it's just a long storied history for sure, man. Yeah.
And then the whole lie, but he, believing that as a kid and just finding out, much later, kayfabe, but that was an iconic storyline itself. That would be one just to dive into on like a separate episode. I'd have to talk to Joe Monroe and then we get all together for a roundtable on that because that would be a fun one because I liked Kane a lot more than I liked The Undertaker because I was always the guy that had to root for the other people because I felt like they didn't have fans. So that's why I loved Goldust. That's why I loved Mankind. That feud with Taker and Mankind was just iconic too, and then sprinkle a little Goldust, a little Kane in there. It's just a great cinema, so.
Right.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And for me, I'm going to go with my first one here is a little outside the box. I find him controversial. I think he complains way too much, but I loved him as manager, Jim Cornette, with Yokozuna. I always thought he was just that smug, annoying, little mama's boy out there. I just loved him with Owen Hart and with Yokozuna, with his tennis racket.
I was just going to say, man, I remember being a kid watching, and I just wanted to beat the out of him with that.
Yeah, I did. I thought he was, one of the best managers at that time, before the other ones, like I said. But, I don't know. I don't like listening to his critiques of wrestling because I just think he's stuck in a box, but I loved him on screen. So my buddy Randy will be all excited because I mentioned Jim Cornette in my top 3. He actually got an autographed 8x10 that says "To Cal, F you," so yeah, and it's actually wrote all the way out, not just "F you, Cal." So yeah, but that's my first one I will mention. Yeah, so I just thought he was, and then with the I always get it backwards. It was the Midnight Express that he was with, correct?
Yes, yeah.
Okay, I always get them in the other one backwards. Rock and Roll Express backwards.
Oh, okay.
So good thing I got it on the first try because, like I said, my buddy Randy will be impressed that I mentioned Jim Cornette. But how about for your number 2 there?
Number 2, man. This one, I don't know if it'll shock many people or if many people even remember it, but Taz from the Team Taz era, man. Honestly, just his commentary and management of Powerhouse Hobbs and of Ricky Starks. It just, it was a perfect blend of what would be considered legitimate. Excuse me, sorry, I got some.
Oh, you're fine. This is a low budget podcast. I don't care.
And some street tough swagger, man. I think he just did a great job of conveying that on both sides, not only through commentary, but just through his style also. Yeah.
Probably just one of the few managers that wouldn't be a chicken shit, on the ropes, or he'd actually stand his ground. And then working with Powerhouse Hobbs, who's just a beast himself,
Absolutely.
So that's a great tandem. It's too bad that he doesn't get the recognition for what he did in wrestling, with the ECW, the commentary, and the training. Like he's basically a total package if you look at it, because he's got.
Yeah, man. Yeah. I don't know like what the whole behind the scenes backstory is, with all that and how that all transpired. But yeah, man, I don't know why so many people slept on him, and he was so quickly like swept under the rug and forgot about as far as his WWE career went. But he actually had a pretty good one. Yep.
Yeah, and I think he was like the version of Brock Lesnar before Brock Lesnar. He wasn't off his feet much.
Right.
That entrance. I mean, just
yeah.
And the tall over the head. Just this small little Tasmanian devil. Coming out to whoop it.
He would whoop some ass.
Exactly. For my number 2, I'm going to put Arn Anderson here because of his knowledge of the business, his in-ring work. Another one that, the enforcer who wouldn't back down. I love that pairing with him and Cody Rhodes. You got the old school, new school kind of. I kind of wish he was still out there doing more with his son, because as I told you off camera, told people he was my dad growing up, because I don't know why. I just always loved Arn Anderson's body of work, and he gets overshadowed a lot by Ric Flair in that Four Horsemen. But when he was with the Minnesota Wrecking Crew with Tully Blanchard, a great tag team, I just love Arn Anderson, and I got the pleasure to meet him, and he's just as cool and nice. I was so glad that was one of my heroes that did not let me down, because
that's awesome, man. That's awesome.
Yeah. After talking with him, like 5 minutes later, he's like, "Oh, where's the casino, kid?" And I was like, "It's that way, right over there." And he's got a little fanny pack of his money. He must have got paid, and he went to gamble. And I gave him a sticker, a tumbler from our great sponsor, which you can see in the right-hand corner there. Superior Creations made an Arn Anderson tumbler that I was able to give him. I got a picture with it. So he was a great dude. I'm pretty excited that I got to meet Arn Anderson. But yeah, he's my number 2. I wish he could do more in the business, because he, I got to read his book. I bet it's just entertaining as he was. So.
All right. Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, he doesn't get enough credit for his WCW run. So.
What was that?
He just doesn't get a lot of that credit being one of the staples in WCW during that time period. You have the NWO, the Four Horsemen, but it's always Flair.
Right. So. Yeah. Well, man, for my number 3, I know we're kind of moving through them quick. I had one. I'm going to switch it up a little bit. Hopefully it's allowed. We'll see. If not, you can cut me off. But I'm going to throw out for my number 3 top manager, William Regal, man. I was just thinking about him, actually.
Okay, there we go.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Yep. I mean, again, like, not really, a name that was synonymous or anything with, the Rocks and the Stone Colds of the time that he was, living his career out and everything. But a guy that nonetheless you can't deny his knowledge of the business, number one. And of course, as GM now, I believe he's still GM of NXT. I know that I don't catch a lot of NXT, unfortunately. Usually preoccupied when it's on and got to catch reruns, and you know how it goes.
Oh, yeah. There's so much out there right now.
But, I believe that there, even though, again, he might not be a name that's in every conversation around wrestling as far as, star power goes, he's definitely a person that needs to be in the conversation of, if he endorses it, people are buying in and watching in what he endorses. I
mean, look what he did for Daniel Bryan when Daniel Bryan was an up-and-comer on the plane. Like he just basically said, he sits with me
Right.
because he has that pull, and he's like that weird sense of humor, like also too that he can play the straight man, but he can also play the funny guy.
Right.
With the Tajiri stuff, the commissioner stuff. Yeah, that's a solid pick right there. I love William Regal.
Absolutely. And well, that's one of my, other reasons why I listed him up there is I don't, he's not that over the top guy.
Mm-hmm.
He's very, he's very just, a calm commander, but like you said, he can do, all the other stuff too. So yeah, man. Yeah. Anyways.
And you mentioned that name and instantly people are like, oh yeah, I respect that name in the business. I'm sure he's probably one of the few that no one can say a bad word about.
Right.
Except for that one guy, what was his name? Bill Goldberg, that he kind of, stiffened him up a little bit. Not a fan of Goldberg here. I'm sure he's a great human. I just didn't like his, run. I just, again, one of the popular guys I didn't want to root for. So,
either.
yeah. So, but for me, number 3, I'm going to go with Sensational Sherry. She freaked me out as a kid. Got to put her in there.
Yeah.
Working with Harlem Heat, I always loved that dynamic. Working with Shawn Michaels.
Yeah.
And then with her wrestling, I mean, I would have loved to have met her because she gives me Victoria vibes.
Okay. I could see
but
that.
like scary, so.
Yeah. The one that always freaked me out during that time, as you mentioned her, was Luna.
Yeah. I was tossing up who I wanted to put because I know I wanted to put one of them in there for sure. But I just Sensational Sherry. I always got a kick out of her. Just
Yeah, yep. And there's a lot, behind the scenes there too with that. And of course, her career is manager of Michaels and everything. So
Yep.
Yeah.
And just her and Luna ahead of their time for sure. Having to stand out again with Bobby Heenan, Jimmy Hart, and all those other great managers during that time,
Right.
Some we didn't even mention, like Teddy Long or Slim, the Wizard, Freddie Blassie. I mean, those are great names where these women had to like stand out. And then we had Sweet Sapphire, who was more just there than anything, but like, Sherry was the top woman,
Right.
So.
Right. Yeah. So what would be like your, if you had to say that, whatever, I guess, sorry, let me restart there. So what would be your top 3 things that you look for in a manager, like in a manager, somebody that's being a manager of somebody? What are 3 things that, this is the way that I'm going to connect with you?
So I feel like I want them to be more of a mouthpiece because that's the reason really they're there.
Right.
I love a heel manager when they get involved, so I want them involved in some capacity in the match. I know Rick Rude didn't really care for Bobby, stealing the spotlight, but I would love someone just out there, helping me get that breather in between and, doing a little thing because it makes my job easier. And then lastly, this is kind of a weird thing. Normally when I wear a hat, I have to match it to my shirt. Well, now white and black go with everything, so I'm good there. But I couldn't find the pink hat. But I want my manager to have that style, like like if I'm wearing red, out to the ring, he better have some like red flair with his suit or his apparel. Like I want them to kind of look like we're on the same team. Like we got to match. We gotta sell that like a tag team. Like I want them to look sharp. Doesn't matter unless we have to wear a suit, but I want him to be him or her a classy individual, smug heel, just matching what I'm wearing so that we look like we're on the same page. Like if I'm wearing pink, he's got a pink tie, or if I'm wearing blue, she's got a blue dress on. You know what I mean? Like we got to look like we know we belong together, like we're on the same page. Those are my 3. So
yeah. Makes sense. I would say the same. Yeah, they got to have the mouthpiece. I mean, they got to be able to talk better than I can. And hang on one second. Say hi to the kiddo. Yep. But yeah, definitely the mouthpiece. Cut it better than I can. And man, again, of course, you like the heel announcer because that's what gets the best reaction. Yep. I do feel like it's definitely probably a lot easier to connect as a heel announcer than it is as a face announcer. But I'd probably, if I had to pick, I'd say the mouthpiece, the face announcer. But I want somebody that's able to, that's able to do the distractions. I don't really care necessarily if they match me or not, but they need to do the distractions. So
it looks like you got one right now. I'm just kidding.
You're right. Yeah.
It's like he knew the segue was coming, Dad.
Absolutely.
Plus, they're going to be the guy to take the elbow drop. They're going to be the guy to take the pie to the face. Of course, I want someone to take that. I don't want to look ridiculous. But I've always liked managers. When AEW brought, Jake the Snake in, Taz, Arn Anderson, it was like, this is refreshing. Someone new, you had Julia Hart out there with the Varsity Blondes in the beginning. It was just nice to have that extra person to bring that old school feel to the wrestling, now. Absolutely. WWE, you only really see it here and there. Everybody wants to be a Paul Heyman guy, but I hope they start, allowing some more, because I always got a kick out of, Alberto Del Rio, when he had his own ring announcer. I always thought that was cool, and then he was, just a piece, and I always thought that was kind of an extra to the character, and Hornswoggle, with Finley, that was always a fun one. And I'm a huge Hornswoggle fan. I say it on every episode,
You wouldn't even think of Hornswoggle in the manager category, but he was a manager. Yes, absolutely.
Can you imagine him just like with the Big Show and just be like, "You listen to me," It's like, So I think that would be super hilarious. Big strong guy with Hornswoggle walking behind him, like, yeah, he's with me. So.
Right. Yeah.
And then the writing, the jokes, it just reminds me of like some cartoon, like where the big bulldog from Tom and Jerry listens to the little mouse, like. He's the bad guy. Beat him up.
Right.
But now, if you were managing anybody out there today, is there anybody on the independents or the pros that you would like to be associated with?
Oh man. I mean, of course, there's tons of names. I could spend a whole day rattling off names from the independent scene to the pros that I'd, love to be associated with. I will tell you, around the area here in Arkansas, specifically Central Arkansas, there is a gentleman. He goes by the name of MacMans, Ontario Hill. And he, if you are out there and you're looking for a manager and you want something to, hang on here 1 second, please. Bro, just come on. No, you've been that way on camera for 5 minutes, man. Come on.
There's our TikTok clip, folks.
Right? Like everybody in the internet just saw you naked, man. You all good.
It's fine. It's fine. Low budget podcast, people.
Right. You gotta love it when it's going, right? Forgive me. What were you just talking about there?
About managing the local independent talent.
Yes. So, anyways, MacMans, he's a local manager, Ontario Hill, and man, he's a great guy to have around. He's definitely he does another kind of, I guess I'd call it a faction of sorts, but it's between some different promotions called Black Diamond Enterprises. And man, they've got some great indie talent under their scene, especially under their belts and in their ranks, especially from the Arkansas area. If I had to say there's anybody to watch, it would be them.
Okay. Yeah, I personally would like to have my buddy Oliver Williams, be my manager versus managing someone, because he had a little side thing called the Zebra Killer, where he took out the referees, which I thought was kind of cool, that his main mission as the manager was to, take care of the referee for you. And I just thought that was super cool. So, but before we close it out here, is there anybody else on your honorable mention that you want to shoot some love out to? And I know I told you off camera, we're not mentioning Virgil, RIP, the jokes aside, but is there anybody else out there you want to give some extra love before we wrap her up here?
Man, we'll just throw some quick honorable mentions as far as managers go out. Stokely Hathaway.
Okay, yep.
Yep, Slick. James Mitchell was another one, the Sinister Minister, you might remember him as. Just, his promos in ECW and TNA with Abyss were just awesome, man. So, yeah, man, I'd round it out with those.
Yeah, I would definitely Teddy Long, great dude. From refereeing to general manager, with Doom and, one-on-one with The Undertaker. Super cool guy, very knowledgeable. I got to spend some time with him at a local show. And then the other guy, Freddie Blassie. I mean, just, I don't know, like something about that old man on the side of the ring. Just, I don't know much about his body of work, but I just thought he was pretty badass for being that old guy out there with the cane. And, it just gives me hope that if I ever get in the biz, I'd want to be a ring announcer. But, manager would be kind of fun too, because, I like to yap, I like to brag, so especially being the number one beard in pro wrestling podcasting.
Man, I can see it. See it. It needs to happen. Book him now.
Yeah. So, but right now we'll stick to being a podcast. If you want to be just like Rich and be featured on your own podcast, check us out on Facebook, YouTube, send us a message, and we will try to get you on and dive into your wrestling fandom. Also, shout out to Inside Out Nutrition, our sponsor here with healthy teas, shakes, and donuts. Yes, healthy donuts, Rich. You wouldn't believe me if I told you, but they are good. And her teas, I tell you what, they get me super excited, as well as Darren Corbin, the loudmouth mercenary out of Minnesota here. Check him out on patreon.com/Darren Corbin for all your Darren Corbin, as well as check out all his other social medias at Darren Corbin if you are a fan of him. But one more time before we go, play that beautiful
this beautiful prize. Are you ready, Jay Rich?
Am I getting this prize?
No, because it's for me.
Oh.
Read it out loud.
The number one beard in pro wrestling podcast, self-proclaimed. Yeah, it is.
Look at that. I got an award for the best beard in wrestling podcast. Leroy ain't got no award.
Yeah, because he did it to himself.
Doesn't matter how you get the award, right? Am I right? That's right.
Wow.
It's your boy, Cranderq out.
It's iconic. It's like this picture came to life. If you manifest it, it will come true, folks. But Rich, before we get you out of here, where can the people find you?
Oh, man, you can always find me Facebook, of course, just Rich Rockwell, based right here in Arkansas, right around the Little Rock area. You can also catch me Monday through Friday currently from 6:30 in the morning till 8:30 in the morning on Patrick and the People. That's on virtually any social media platform out there, or just patrickandthepeople.com. Wednesdays, catch me on MacMan's podcast. That's actually going to be coming up tonight here in just about an hour or so. So you can check me out over there. And, of course, Instagram, TikTok, all of them, just Rich Rockwell or Rich Onefall. You'll find me pretty quickly.
Perfect. And we're going to start doing some lives. Rich has agreed to jump on some lives with us and have some shenanigans with people popping out of closets, little kids being distracting. But we love it here at Friends of the Squared Circle. It's a low-budget podcast. Rich, I cannot thank you enough. Everything you do for me here at Friends of the Squared Circle by sharing it out, hopping onto the podcast, and, it's a stupid catchphrase, but it works. Thank you for being a friend of the Squared Circle.
Always, sir. Thank you so much. It's great being
Perfect. It's your boy, Cranderq. Cranderq out.
Take care.
Now he's got to find the button. That's the hard part.